Hard work beats talent when talent fails to work hard. Kevin Durant.
Everybody dies, but not everybody lives. Drake.
I am Iron Man.
Tony Stark. Good morning. My name is Kellen, and I am a sixth form day student from Avon, Connecticut. I'm one of 4 boys in our family. My parents gave each of us an Irish name. My oldest brother is Connor, then there is Liam, then me, and then my youngest brother's name is Finian, and he goes by the name Finn. In kindergarten, I remember wanting to change my name. Another child on the playground told me that my name was meant for a girl. As you might expect, I felt bad about their comment and kept thinking about it later that night. Maybe changing my name was a possibility. I got out of bed, went downstairs, and sat on the couch across from my parents. I said to them, "I think I want to change my name." My mom looked at me, somewhat surprised, smiled, and assured me, "But Kellen, you have such a beautiful name." Definitely not what I was hoping to hear, having just been told that my name was meant for a girl. "People could even call you Kelly for short," she said. Things were going from bad to worse. It was becoming clear to me that Kellen was not the best choice of names for myself. I couldn't imagine, with all the incredible names out there, why they would have chosen Kellen for me. "Do you know what your name means?" my parents asked. "No," I replied, somewhat baffled and concerned. "It is Irish, and it means mighty warrior." I sat up and felt somewhat empowered for a second. "Your name stands for strength," my father said. I explained what had happened that day on the playground, and they told me not to let what other people say ever make me feel bad about myself. They reiterated that I had a strong name and that I should feel good about who I am. I did actually feel a little better, and they brought me back upstairs to my bed. After that, I didn't think about my name again for quite some time. My first memory of Westminster and lacrosse goes back to the 3rd grade. I had started playing for the Avon Youth Lacrosse League and immediately fell in love with the game. At about the same time, then Westminster lacrosse coach Peter Newman and former Westie star athlete David Earle created a program called Friday Night Lights, where kids could come to Westminster on Friday nights and practice with the coaches and players under the lights on Hovey Field. I remember thinking that the players were so big, so strong, so fast, and just all around amazing at lacrosse. I felt as though I was practicing with the pros. I can even remember asking one of them after a practice for an autograph. Being under the lights on such an incredible field, I was all in from that day on. I hoped that someday I would have those Hovey lights reflecting off my helmet and that I could play as a martlet and beyond. After finding success as a midfielder on my travel and club team, I was more than eager to get things going on the turf when I got to Williams Hill. I was getting to know a lot of guys on the team, went to all the captain's practices, and felt ready to don the varsity uniform. But when tryouts were complete, the coaches informed me that I would be wearing a different uniform and playing on the grass field instead of the turf. They felt it would be better for me to work on my game by actually playing on the second team rather than practicing and not getting to play on varsity. Yada, yada, yada. All I heard were the letters JV. I was crushed. Inside, I felt as though all my training had been for nothing. My parents tried to offer me support, but also provided perspective and inspiration. They told me how the great Nelson Mandela once said, "Do not judge me by my success. Judge me by how many times I fell down and got back up again." Invigorated, I set out my lacrosse career with a new purpose and energy. I began practicing for hours every day after our practices, constantly went to the field and shot with Baker as both of us were so determined to get better. My two older brothers, Connor and Liam, had gone through something similar during high school, and they both ultimately found success. They inspired me to push myself past the limits which I had set on myself. I would double down, work harder, and hopefully my time would come. In moments of doubt, when I struggled to see the light at the end of the tunnel, my brother Liam would look over at me and say, "I believe in you." His bedroom was right next to mine, so he always knew if I had had one of those long nights where I would have to stay up late studying for an AP Euro test and would then wake up at 5:30 the next morning to finish. But there was one time that he said something that shaped my mindset for the rest of my Westminster career. Liam, one of the hardest working kids that I know, be it in the classroom or on an erg, told me, "Kellen, I believe that one day you will do something amazing and others will wonder how you did it. Deep down, you will know it was because you worked so hard. Keep grinding, you will get there." These conversations helped me stay strong, believe in myself, and focus on the road ahead in hopes that someday my future would hold everything that I dreamed of. Sophomore year came around, and things were really different. On January 21st, 2020, the first confirmed cases of COVID-19 in the United States was reported by the state of Washington. Everyone went on lockdown, and life as we knew it went on a prolonged break. But even though COVID destroyed lives in so many ways, it also provided unique opportunities. My brother Connor, who I really missed, came home from college, and my family found ourselves together again. Every day, I worked out with my three brothers. We created daily physical challenges and explored the outdoors. We found new hiking trails and spots to go fly fishing. During that time, we also adopted an Old English sheepdog puppy into our family. We named him Wallace after his father, but he goes by Wally. He is a goofy, fun-loving furball who brought a lot of joy to our family during a very difficult time. Wally was actually born in the state of Washington, where COVID began in the US, and his owner gave each puppy in the litter an inspirational name as they were born during the pandemic. Wallace's real birth name on his certificate is Keep On Dancin'. Like his unconditional love and constantly joyful personality, his name, Keep On Dancin', serves to remind me of the importance of moving forward no matter what life throws your way. Just as Wally entered our lives, I was also inspired and pushed by my teammates, who were getting better by lifting weights they had made from textbooks at home or logging miles trail running. Eventually, as the pandemic slowed, I was able to travel to a few lacrosse events and get on the radar of a few great schools. My coaches, advisors, and teachers were providing further inspiration. I especially admire Mr. Crosby, who despite it all has always been there for me. He is super easy to talk to, encouraging, and has always been there for me. He is able to find the good side of everything. Simply put, he is a very special person. When you see all the little Crosbys tearing it up around alumni and the rest of campus, it is easy to see where they get their energy, attitude, and big smiles. Mr. Pringle, my basketball coach, was very quick to recognize that I would not be playing for Coach K at Duke at any point in the near future. In fact, on one play, after missing a shot, getting my rebound, and passing the ball to Cooper, who also proceeded to miss his shot and get his own rebound, Coach Pringle called a timeout, put Cooper and me in the center of the huddle, and asked us why we had decided to play wall ball that day with each other against the backboard in the middle of a game. And yet, he was still able to find a role for me, and I've absolutely loved every part of being on the basketball family that Coach Pringle has worked so hard to make. Mr. Aber has also gone the extra mile for me. He makes a really mean gluten-free brownie, and I am grateful for all the extra effort he has always made to provide me with incredible gluten-free baked goods. It is a little-known fact that Mr. Aber is one of the best bakers on West E campus. He is incredibly kind, and I am extremely grateful for all the things he has done to make my life better at Westminster. And then there is Mr. Sestaire, who has helped me as much as anyone at this school, and I've never had him as a teacher or as a coach. He has always been there for me to help navigate the academics, share learning strategies, and facilitate taking and retaking and retaking SATs and ACTs. And yes, I took them 7 times. Throughout all of the hours he spent with me, Mr. Sester had a cup of coffee in one hand and a smile on his face. He has changed my life, and I will never forget what he has done for me. My junior year, things were slowly improving. We had a few scrimmages in a Westie uniform, but there were not many games, and my playing time was very limited. Inspired by the sheer determination and drive of my close friend Jeremy, who worked hard every day for 530 days to return to his game form after a major surgery. I was motivated to keep grinding through a packed club season and a summer chock full of showcases and my summer job. I had both failure and success in lacrosse that summer, but it was at a low point when my mother reminded me of the meaning of my name. Mighty warrior, she said. Use your name to empower you. Find the strength inside yourself to pick yourself up when you are down. You can do this. Then fall came around, and it was great to be back on campus again as a senior. But I had a difficult course load and finally accepted that I would not be committing to college for lacrosse. To be perfectly honest, this fall was tough, and I was feeling somewhat down inside. Not only didn't I commit, which was something I had always dreamed of, but that semester I was sad to be deferred from the college I had applied to early decision. I did my best to stay positive, but it was challenging. My father reminded me of a quote from Michael Jordan. Obstacles don't have to stop you. If you run into a wall, don't turn around and give up. Figure out how to climb it, go through it, or work around it. I knew deep down he was right. I would keep grinding, and I wouldn't give up. I had so much to look forward to, like varsity basketball, skiing, and a spring lacrosse season. After finally completing my college applications and working hard to keep my grades up senior year, I could hardly wait for ski season. I absolutely loved the outdoors and the freedom that I feel while carving down mountains. This year, I was extremely excited to go skiing in Vermont with my Westminster friends. It was a trip we had talked about for quite some time, and I was excited that it was finally going to happen. I remember packing my skis, my ice skates, and my snowshoes. I couldn't wait to enjoy this great weekend with my friends. We were supposed to get 1 to 2 feet of fresh powder. Unfortunately, the weather forecast was just a bit off, and we awoke the next morning in Vermont to see a beautiful mountainside glistening with a fresh coat of thick ice. That day is when it happened. I couldn't believe it. I took a hard fall on my shoulder against the ice. It felt like pavement on impact, and I broke my collarbone. In a split second, I lost the rest of varsity basketball season and the beginning of spring lacrosse. Lightning struck twice in the Seeley family that month, and Finn had his own turn of bad luck, fracturing his elbow. Although I felt really bad for Finn because he would miss his freshman season, I was very fortunate to have my little brother to bond with on the sidelines. The glass was at least half full. My Westminster experience has constantly reminded me of my all-time favorite Michael Jordan quote. I've missed more than 9,000 shots in my career. I've lost almost 300 games. 26 times I've been trusted to take the game-winning shot and missed. I've failed over and over and over again in my life, and that is why I succeed. As Coach Pringle can attest to, I am no Michael Jordan, but we can all be like Mike in some ways. As J.K. Rowling said in her speech at Harvard University in 2008, it is impossible to live without failing at something, unless you live so cautiously that you might as well have not lived at all, in which case you've failed by default. Despite a lifetime filled with failure, I have also found success. This March, the same college that deferred my application in the early round accepted me, and my hope is that with continued hard work and practice, I can play lacrosse there next year. No matter what the future brings, I can assure you, I will never stop trying. My name is Kellen Seeley, and over the years, I have grown to love my name. It reminds me of who I am, where I came from, and what I stand for. We all have different challenges we are facing, but we can persevere. We need to dig deep down inside ourselves and find the strength to overcome whatever life brings our way. Be resilient. We're all mighty warriors, and we have the power to be as strong as iron if we believe in ourselves and help one another. If you ever get to a point in your life where you feel broken, like I did, be it emotionally, spiritually, or even if you are truly physically broken like I was, get up, stand up, and as Wally reminds me every single day, keep on dancing. Thank you.